This pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Viruses abound in video games, ready to infect the unsuspecting and lead them towards horrifying deaths. In Metal Gear Solid 5, we have the vocal cord parasites. The vocal cord parasites wreak havoc, infecting anyone who speaks their target language. The vocal cord parasites are responsible for the puppet soldiers, aka the zombie-like enemies that sway after us to attack. In Resident Evil, we have the T-virus, another man-made virus weaponized to render people into walking bioweapons. If you had to choose one to be infected with though, which would you choose? Heads up, this video will have spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Luffy and welcome to my channel. I talk video games and character analysis, so if that's your thing, subscribe and stick around. If you like what I do here, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a channel member so that I can continue to bring these videos to you weekly. Let's take a look at these two bioweapons and then make a choice on which we choose to be infected with, if we had to be infected with one of them. Vocal cord parasites.
How do we
Silence. Or death.
What do you...
It could be in here. Stay quiet. Your life depends on it.
What if you weren't able to ever speak your primary language ever again? Well, that's what'll happen if you get infected with the vocal cord parasites. Or, I mean, you could speak the target language, but then your lungs are going to get gooped up and you'll slowly turn into a puppet for the parasites. The vocal cord parasites have been around for thousands and thousands of years. They used to live in symbiotic relationship with people and actually gave people their ability to vocalize complex sounds, aka the ability to speak. The vocal cord parasites' symbiotic history with people is why our immune systems don't recognize them as a threat, and so don't attack them. Also, they don't infect prepubescent hosts because their vocal cords aren't fully developed yet. So if you're a child watching this video, you get a free pass and can choose to be infected with the vocal cord parasites with no consequence. I'm old though, so if I pick the vocal cord parasites, I've got to say bye-bye to English, or turn into a parasite puppet. The vocal cord parasites didn't become a problem for people until Skullface decided to weaponize them to wipe out languages he thought were harmful to the world, like English. If you want to know more about what Skullface wanted to do with the vocal cord parasites, I'll have a video linked in the description for you to check out. Skullface had Code Talker redesign the vocal cord parasites so that they could target people who spoke the language they were trained to target, and once their host spoke their target language, they would copulate and attack their host's lungs. Their host would then deteriorate until they either passed from the damage the parasites did, or would be so far deteriorated mentally that they carried out the parasite's bidding, which usually involved the host trying to infect more people with the parasites. Navajo is the only safe language to speak, as Code Talker never designed the parasites to target Navajo. Theoretically, sign language should also be a safe bet, but there are theories thrown around that even writing could activate the vocal cord parasites, hence why Quiet, who was infected with the English strain of the vocal cord parasites, couldn't just write messages to Venom. And if that's true, then sign language would be a no-go, as it would also activate the language center in your brain. How do you get infected with the vocal cord parasites though? Luckily, there is no intermediate host, so you can't catch the vocal cord parasites from rodents or insects. Code Talker explains,
The vocal cord parasites lay their eggs in the larynx of the host. Most hatch and migrate to the lungs, but some are transported to the mouth through ciliary movement, mixing in with saliva.
Droplet transmission. Sneezing, coughing. Any food or water containing infected saliva. It would spread fast.
It's also implied that you can pick them up on your clothing and belongings, as Venom and his gear are sanitized after each mission. Lastly, you can probably also pick up the vocal cord parasites through bites and scratches. The puppet hosts swing at non-infected persons and try to maul them to death, implying this is an effective form of transmission. Once the vocal cord parasite's host is showing symptoms, nothing can be done. That person is gonzo. Side note, there is a way to stave off the vocal cord parasites from activating. Code Talker smokes an herb that deafens the parasites for some time. The only treatment for the vocal cord parasites is the Wolbachia, which turns the male counterparts of the vocal cord parasites to female, making it so the vocal cord parasites can't copulate and so it won't attack the host. Unfortunately, this treatment also sterilizes the host, so definitely keep that in mind when you're making your decision on whether or not to choose the vocal cord parasites. If you choose them and try to cure yourself, you'll be sterilized as well. The vocal cord parasites eat away at its host's lungs and deteriorate their mental capacity until they resemble a zombie, operating as a vessel to spread the vocal cord parasites to more hosts. It's a horribly drawn out, uncomfortable death. Is this a better fate than what the T-virus would have in store for you though? T-virus.
That's right. This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant! Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful.
If you've played any Resident Evil game, you know the T-virus is no joke. Once infected, 90% of people succumb to the virus and are transformed into some kind of zombie. Unlike the puppet hosts of the vocal cord parasites, these zombies are 100% dead, rotting flesh and all. Infecting others isn't the only goal of a zombie either. No. Terrifyingly, a zombie's one true goal is to eat. And what catches a zombie's eye is moving prey, so watch out. One of the big differences I wonder about between a zombie and a puppet host is how aware you are. Zombies are dead. How much awareness could you really have as a walking corpse? It seems like it's just your body walking around, eating, and whatever made you is long gone. Puppet hosts, on the other hand, are you locked inside your brain, looking out at the horrible things your body is doing in the name of infecting other people with the vocal cord parasites? I don't know. But it's something to consider when you're making your decision. How do you get infected with the T-virus, though? Unfortunately, there are 4 ways you can be infected with the T-virus. The first, and most well known, is by direct fluidic transmission. If an infected person bites or scratches you, the infected person's bodily fluids and tissues come in contact with yours, giving the virus an easy in into your system. The second way you can be infected is if someone purposefully injects you with the virus. This is how Umbrella carried out a lot of their experiments with the T-virus. They infected their experiment T to test how the virus would affect their system. The third way you can be infected is if your water source has been contaminated with the T-virus and you drink that water. We see this form of infection in Welcome to Raccoon City, where Raccoon City's water supply has been contaminated with the T-virus, and the city's citizens slowly start to succumb to the virus and turn into zombies. Side note, I know a lot of fans hate Welcome to Raccoon City and don't consider it canon. I don't consider it canon either. It's just a great example of how a water source can get contaminated with devastating results. The fourth and last way you can be infected is if the T-virus gets airborne. I also know we don't consider the Alice movies canon, but they have a great example of this in the first movie, where a tube containing the T-virus is broken open and releases the T-virus into the air and infects all the scientists working in the lab through the connected air ducts. Though the virus seems to dissipate pretty quickly, since the team that reopens the hive to explore what happened don't seem to be infected despite not wearing gas masks. The T-virus is a versatile virus with multiple ways to infect you, which is terrifying. When you think you're safe from it by avoiding any mad scientists who want to inject you with a sample, and the flesh-eating zombies that spread the virus through their bite, the T-virus can still get you if it goes airborne. Let's say you've been infected. Now what? Do you have any options, or are you fated to become a zombie? Luckily, there are several different treatments you can try to prevent your zombification. You have 3 options when it comes to staving off the T-virus. First, you can undergo an antiretroviral therapy, which will suppress the T-virus from replicating in your body. Second, you can undergo an antibody therapy. Antibody therapy is when antibodies are designed in a lab to target specific antigens, like the ones found in the T-virus, and stick to them. They can help the immune system destroy them. The third option you have is vaccination. It's important to note that none of these options are a guarantee, and there are strains of the T-virus out there that are drug resistant. One last thing to note, 10% of people are immune to the T-virus. There's also like a 1 in 10 million chance you'll bond with the T-virus and get sick powers out of it. So that's something to consider too when you're choosing which to be infected with. How good is your luck? Do you think you could be one of the lucky few immune to the T-virus? Your thoughts. We took a poll here on YouTube asking whether you'd choose to be infected with the vocal cord parasites or the T-virus, and the vocal cord parasites won by a landslide. What? Y'all don't want to be zombies? Lame. Ace Heister 4380 commented, "It seems I can no longer put off learning another language." And in a similar vein, Sinful Archer 141 commented, "Let's see, be forced to make a new language your base language, or get turned into a zombie. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be picking up Spanish classes. I swear to God, Duolingo will come for us all. I'm shocked Duolingo hasn't released a strain of the vocal cord parasites just to make us get on the app and learn a new language." Senfa commented, "I'm trying to look big and cool and strong and gloopy, and I want my limbs turned into blades. I'll take the T-virus." Heck yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. Let's get this party started with the T-virus. Liquid Pro Eaton 1367 commented, "I'm too lazy to learn a new language, and I know I'd inevitably forget and speak English anyway, so I'm gonna roll the dice on the T-virus. 1 in 10 people are immune to it, so fingers crossed." And I felt this in my bones. I have the memory of a goldfish, so I'd also forget I wasn't allowed to speak English anymore and would accidentally activate the vocal cord parasites and get my lungs eaten. Y'all had a lot of really interesting reasons as to why you choose which one to be infected with. What about me though? If I had to choose, Logically, I'm going with the vocal cord parasites, but my heart says the T-virus. I love zombies too much not to be infected with the T-virus. Plus, what if I got super cool powers out of it like Alice? I could control fire blasts and kill a bunch of infected crows. Somebody's gotta be there to do that, right? Who am I kidding though? I'd definitely be a zombie. I'm okay with that though. I love zombies. What about you though? Now that we've taken a look at both the vocal cord parasites and the T-virus, which are you getting infected with? You have to be infected with one of them, and the vocal cord parasites have been trained to attack your primary language. Let me know in the comments which you choose. Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's video. If you liked it, share it with someone who you think will also like it. If you need more content, check out my Patreon or become a channel member. I upload articles I write on upcoming videos or just thought pieces in general. Or join us in Discord. We're always talking about video games. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Special thanks to Nader Najan. Thank you so much for your support.